Hello, this is Tim, and I'd rather not say which room in the house I found some semblance of broadband-internet, but here I am. Gosh. Anyway, I thought it was important to update you about the Chris Pincher story. So yesterday I did a thing about the Tamworth pig, and today it's back to RAab. Now, RAab is not somebody I admire. I think he's... I think over him hangs the shadow of his inability to act on Afghanistan and his preference to stay in Crete, sunning himself on the beach. I know Crete very well. I was in Chania years ago, basically at a courthouse, trying to get some sort of justice for my partner who was tortured in Crete. So Crete has a lot of interesting memories for me. Now, today, RAab has been on the wireless, on the radio, defending Boris. How much did Boris know about Chris Pincher? And the two expressions that RAab uses are very, very interesting. He's clearly been lawyered up and he's clearly using his words very, very carefully, which must come as an effort to somebody with such a little brain, allegedly. The two expressions that I picked out, which I think are fascinating, are number one, it was not my understanding that he was briefed. In other words, oh, I'm a little dim. Well, he is a little dim, but there we are. It's nice to hear him admitting it. And the other one is, it's not clear to me that was factually accurate. In other words, I didn't quite hear you. So both of those expressions are almost as brilliant a legal invention to get round the reality as the idea that somebody is being disingenuous with the truth. And I hope people will see those two expressions for the weasel-worded nonsense that they actually contain. So the problem for RAab and Boris lies in a man called Lord Simon MacDonald. Lord Simon MacDonald was a senior civil servant in the Foreign Office at the same time that RAab was Foreign Secretary. And Simon MacDonald was the person who blew the whistle about, or at least he was the person who dealt with a complaint similar, he says, to that made about Pincher in the Carlton Club. A similar complaint about Pincher to the complaint that was made about Pincher in the Carlton Club. And apparently Pincher apologised and promised not to repeat the inappropriate behaviour. I wonder if that inappropriate behaviour was anything like the sort of inappropriate behaviour that Cash and Carry was involved in. As I said, this will bring Boris to his knees, or at least someone to his knees. And anyway, apparently Boris was then briefed in person, says Lord MacDonald. In person, he was briefed about two things: the initiation of this investigation and the outcome of the investigation. That implies he was briefed twice, not once. So it becomes very difficult for RAab to say, well, I don't think that happened. Because it did happen, and it happened on record twice. And this civil servant was in office from 2015 to 2020 and is now a peer. His word is now part of our government system. So it should be taken seriously. He can't just be dismissed as yet another tiresome civil servant. No, he is a lord. He's in the House of Peers. So we've got RAab on record now, trying to create a deceit and trying at the same time to use words which he doesn't think are going to get him into any legal trouble. This is foul and objectionable. And what's it trying to do? The Pincher story is no longer about Pincher. The Pincher story is about Boris. As Angela Rayner said today, Boris knew. And he appointed Chris Pincher despite knowing. Now, I think the real issue is not whether Boris knew or what Boris knew, but was Boris acting with that knowledge in the spirit of generosity or indifference? Was he acting with the spirit of mercy or with the spirit of contempt? And that is the bigger question, and that is the key question. Was Boris being contemptuous of the whole idea of sexual impropriety, or was Boris being merciful, kind, and generous? Gets to the hub.